everybody, and welcome to A Balanced Life with Dr. Jacquie here on the Black Star Network. And today we're talking about the ups and downs of the holidays. Yes, we all have them. And no matter how we try to run from our feelings, our emotions, and all the angst that comes with the holidays, there are just going to be those days where we try to be happy. We feel like we have to put on this brave face and this smile for everybody. But today we're going to talk about what it looks like to take off that mask, to be transparent, to be vulnerable, and literally how to deal with all of the emotions that comes with the holidays. Today we're going to be joined by Levita Marshall and Dr. Tierney. Welcome in, ladies.
Hey, Dr.
My. Hey, everybody.
Oh,
You know, do we always think about, I'm going to just jump right in because I feel like the holidays come and people start getting antsy and anxious because there's so many emotions that are just tied in to the holidays, and there's sort of like these bittersweet moments. Oh, the traditions, the this, the that, the other. Oh, someone's not here. Oh, I don't know what to do. Dr. Tierney, as a coach, kind of walk us through, how do people, I'm going to use the SAT words, juxtapose their feelings for the holidays and, putting on this brave face? How do we acknowledge and move forward?
Yeah, yeah. That is a very good SAT word, GRE word, juxtapose. Um, Basically saying how do we hold space for the grief as well as the joy that we experience in this holiday season. And the thing I would say, and I tell my clients, just be honest. Just be honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with what you are feeling. A lot of times we feel pressure because there's, the bells are ringing and the songs are singing and oh, joy to the world, but you might be missing your loved one right now, or you may be going through some very difficult relationship situations right now. You may be feeling lonely, right now. And so a lot of times we feel this pressure to put on a brave face and oh, I'm fine, and yes, and have Merry Christmas, and when really in the inside we're screaming. And so the main thing is just to be honest with what you feel, where you are, on what this holiday season means for you, because then that will help you to navigate it in a way that is just authentic, first of all, but also that will help you to come out on the other side healthier and happy, instead of just trying to stuff it down, pretend like it's not there. And then before you know it, you're blowing up over the Christmas ham, because someone asked you to pass the green beans, because you stuffed all of these emotions in. So just being honest about what you feel and where you're at right now can help you to hold space for the myriad of feelings that you are experiencing right now.
I think that everything you said is truly valid. And Levita, that whole space of just holding everything in, and you're sort of like this balloon ready to pop as soon as someone says something to you that was really quite minor. How do we level ourselves with this tension for the holidays, to be brave, to soldier on, while at the same time it's like, I got stuff?
mhm. I think sometimes when we're in the midst of the holidays, we tend to think our lives should play out like a Hallmark movie.
Hmm.
And, if you've seen those, I like my little Hallmark movies, don't get me wrong, some of them, but they have very predictable storylines, and you know what's going to happen. The girl has to go back home and save the family in, or the guy has to go back and save the family Christmas farm, and it's always something like that. They're very predictable. You know how it's going to end. Guy gets girl and all of that. But our lives are just not predictable that way. We don't have those predictable storylines that just kind of play out and you have this nice neat package, the resolution, like you said, going back to the SAT and the GRE words, and the climax and the resolution and all of that. Sometimes you just don't have that. You don't. There may be a lot of climaxes going on, in your story plot line, and maybe you haven't even come to a place where you're able to have any kind of resolution of your feelings, and you're just trying to navigate, and you haven't found that place where you can tie that nice neat little red bow, on top of your package. And so it's hard sometimes to really navigate those feelings and those emotions, and sometimes they come up at just the most inopportune times. And we say, inopportune, but when is that ever convenient, really? When is sadness or when is it convenient? It sometimes, yeah, like you said, it happens when you're passing the green bean bowl and it just comes out. I literally, I was in a meeting on Saturday and I just had a moment, and I was sitting in the midst of this meeting and I started tearing up.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my goodness, where is this coming from? I literally started tearing up because a thought came across my mind. And so it was just an odd moment. It wasn't, and we're talking 300 people in a room. And so, yeah, it is not always convenient. It's not always going to be that Hallmark, movie presentation. So, and it's okay.
And I think that it is okay because, there's this whole wave of emotions. And, sometimes we all wear our feelings on our sleeves, and some people are better, than others at masking those feelings and emotions. But sometimes, and I won't say sometimes, oftentimes during the holidays, everybody's gathered together. People are, talking, having fun. And all of a sudden, a smell, a song, a conversation, a memory, just like this wave of emotion, this holiday paradox, trying to feel like my feelings are valid, but I don't know if they're going to understand my feelings because, before you get to the holiday dinner, people say stuff like, you need to work that out before you get here. It's like, hold up. Why do I need to stuff my feelings and emotions down when around family and good friends, you should be able to be vulnerable and transparent? Dr. Tierney, walk us through perhaps a few steps that people can use this holiday season on being okay with their feelings and how to voice to other people. Now, look, I'm a bag of emotions and we all coming for the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm about to say something that's might be a little controversial here, but you do need to work that out before you go to the family dinner. It's not their responsibility to help you work it out. This is where I get on my soapbox early. Go get your therapist and go get your coach. Come talk to me. You go to your safe space with your person that is professionally trained to help you work that out. I think we get into trouble when we just think, oh, well, we're self-aware and I know this is what I feel. And then you think you're just supposed to be able to blast that on all over everybody, regardless if it's happening over the mac and cheese or out in the football field or whatever it is. And that's not okay. Those are your triggers. That sound, that smell, that song triggered something for you. And your triggers are your responsibility to deal with, not theirs. So just because we're family, just because we're friends, just because we have all of this history together, and I may love you to the ground, but sugar, that need might not have my name on it. I might not be the person that's supposed to stand with you in that space to help you heal from it. That's why coaches and therapists exist. So please don't walk into this holiday season thinking that it's somebody else's responsibility to heal you. No, it's your responsibility for you to handle that, for you to go and get the help with that, and not just think that, oh, you just supposed to just be able to say whatever and do whatever, and people still supposed to want you around their dinner table. No, that is not how that works. Okay. And I know that was a little tough love there, sugar, but that is the reality of it. We cannot continue to walk through the rest of this year or into next year thinking that we do not need therapy or coaching to help us deal with our stuff. We do. You hear me say it all the time. The coach got a coach. I got a coach and a therapist. Okay. I got a team around me to help me walk through my stuff so that I can continue to hold space for my clients. So come on now, sugar. You have to do better. When you know better, you do better. And it's time to do better, sugar.
I think that's the whole word, because there's a difference between dumping everything on people and having discussions around emotions like, hey, that song just came on. Remember that was so-and-so's favorite song, and everybody can have a memory around it. And those are not the same thing. So what you're saying is absolutely valid. There's a difference between dumping and discussing or dialoguing about a good memory. Lavita, and I know you do a lot of work with women in the church and helping them heal from the things that trouble them. From a faith perspective, what does that look like? Because you can't take everything to everybody. The song, Take It to the Lord in Prayer.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. So even within our village, you better find that inner circle.
Mm,
I mean, the
that's a
village,
word.
the village is entirely too large to be sharing and spreading everything that you are going through. So yes, I believe in having an inner circle. Um, one of the things that I learned early on, and I didn't have that early on because, a lot of us kind of grew up thinking, and not at any fault of our families. It's just, I think the generation that we were in, oh, don't tell everybody, don't air your dirty laundry, don't do this. But then, well, who do I go to? Who I need someone to walk this season with me. The Bible even says that there are certain afflictions that we have, that we go through, where you can be a comfort to someone else in that same affliction that you have already received comfort from. And
Mm.
so God is like, well, there you have it right there. That's your inner circle. Those are the people that you need to surround yourself with. That one or two people, if that is a trusted one person or two. And like Dr. Tierney said, I believe in therapy. I believe in coaching. I believe in all of that, along with a strong, faith-based group of women, or your support system, whatever that support system is. I believe in all of that. I honestly do. And so you're right. For those women who are, struggling in the season and want to, aside from, getting therapy and coaching, which we all need, but just, yeah, people who are godly in the word, and you're going to come with godly wisdom, not what you think,
Mm.
not your interpretation. What does the word of God say about this situation? That's why I've held on to that verse for so long, because it really does speak to the things that we're going through and how we received help and comfort from God. And he will send you someone during that time in that season.
I think that all of the things that we were talking about are so important. And I want to pick up on that. When we come back after the break, let's continue this conversation about expectations related to how we manage the holidays. But there's also going to be the elephant in the room. Someone is missing. How do we honor those who we have lost during the year and years past during this holiday season? We'll be back in a moment after the break.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. And as you can tell, there are going to be some tender conversations happening during this holiday season. You being able to express your emotions openly, finding your village and your tribe within your own family unit with your girlfriends, your guy friends, however you manage to work that out. Find someone that you can talk to, that you can open up to and have transparency. But even in that, all of us this year are going to be gathered around that sacred table, ladies, and we're going to notice that someone's not there. So let's talk about that conversation for this holiday season related to how do we honor when someone has passed on. Lavita and Dr. Tierney, this time of year, people are going to be setting some empty seats at the table. And I have watched families and have coached families who they just set the table and give no regard for an open seat. But everybody's sitting around talking about, we're not going to honor that person we just lost. I'm going to start with Lavita. How do we make space and teach our community to hold space for our loved ones?
I ran across this really amazing quote by the poet Edna St. Vincent Millay, and she says that the presence of that absence is everywhere.
Mm.
And oh my goodness, it really hit me. And it was a part of my grief counseling. So I received grief counseling. I went through it and I read a series of books by this phenomenal author called Journeying Through Grief. And it was just a really amazing journey to go through that. But that quote just really, really stuck with me because the presence of that absence is everywhere. Like I said, oh my goodness, I'm in the midst of this meeting. And what in the world? Where did that come from? And I like to not use that term new normal. I never really liked that term. And so I was searching for like, wow, what do I call that? What do I call that thing? And what I start to call it is, this is my everyday life now. This is my everyday life now. And there's no one size fits all answer to how we kind of deal with the holidays. But me personally, we did go through our first last year. And I was very intentional. I believe that you need to be very intentional when, dealing with your grief. And I had the photo, I lit the candle, I had the Thanksgiving plate, like, she was actually going to be sitting down there and it was very prominent so everyone could see. But I believe when you're dealing with family, because it's a touchy situation, not everyone grieves in the same manner. Mm-hmm. And I think that you need to just really communicate to those around you, hey, what is my comfort zone? I'm not really comfortable with that. That may be a thing for you to do, but I'm not really comfortable with that. But I think, especially for the first, there needs to be a lot of communication that happens, because some people may think that smiling and laughing is a betrayal to the loved one. Mm-hmm. Some people may feel that way, like, why is everyone so happy? Why is everyone so joyous? Like, what? Oh my goodness, this is a sad time. And so it's such a thin line to balance that joy and that grief. And I honestly just come back to, the Old Testament, and God says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning.
Yeah.
So, right. So just trying to, find that balance and just communicate very well to your loved ones.
No, I appreciate you saying that because this for you. You were talking about the loss of your sister. Mm-hmm. And so, it depends on the role that individual played in your life. And for some people, for you, it was a year. This will be the second year experiencing that holiday. And then for others, it's like tender because it just happened. And so I'm coming to Dr. Tierney, and Lord, we're going to pray she keep her lashes. I asked her this question because, Dr. Tierney's been with us for a long time. She's like family. She recently lost her grandfather, who was like a father to her. And audience, I'm telling you this now because you need to know the relationship that people have so that you know how to manage people in your space based on the relationship that they had with the individual that was lost. So Dr. Tierney, this being like ever so new, and you're just now starting to have these conversations with family members and the tensions and the this and all of that, kind of walk us through your processing of preparation for this holiday, because there's so many people who are right where you are in this moment.
Yeah. The first thing I want you to hear me say is grieving sucks. Okay. This is hard. I would probably use another word if we weren't trying to keep it PG, but
Yeah.
fill in the blank, sugar. Okay. Fill in the blank.
I use
Um, it is a beast. Okay. And yes, this is very fresh. I just lost my grandfather, who was more like my father, at the end of August, beginning of September. Okay. So, and at the same time, I'm watching my grandmother, who is more like my mother. We're not even sure if she's going to make it to the end of this year. Okay. So there is grief and anticipatory grief that is happening all at the same time.
Wow.
And so that is a very tough road to walk, and honestly, right now, I'm not even thinking about the holidays. I'm not thinking about no tree. I'm not thinking about no carols. I'm not thinking about no hot cocoa. I'm just thinking about how can I soak up as much time that I have left. With I've already lost one, the other one is about to leave me. So I'm not thinking about, well, what does this look like for Christmas? What does this look like, for next year? I'm just going day by day by day. And in me going day by day, it's a daily checking in with myself. Okay, Tierney, where are you? What are you feeling right now? What do you need right now? And because grief is so unfair. She is so unfair. One minute she makes you think you're fine. The next minute she comes and slaps you across the face. The next minute you can look at their pictures and laugh at memories. The next minute, just a song will bring you to your knees. And so each day I have to check in with myself to say, what do you need today? And whatever that need is, whatever that care that I need for myself, that's what I do. And I recognize that it's my care, my need that I need. My entire family is grieving. And my grandmother had 8 children. It's a lot. Okay. It's a lot. I got a lot of cousins. It's a lot of us. And not everybody grieves in the same way. So I can't force my needs that I feel like I grieve on them. I can't expect my aunt to be able to carry maybe what I can carry right now today, or my cousin to be able to step in where maybe I can't step in, because it's ever shifting for all of us. We can't always communicate it. We don't always have the words. Sometimes it's just a shoulder shrug. Sometimes it's, that's as much communication as I got today. It's that,
real.
That is, and so it's just really about truly giving yourself permission to grieve, but also giving them permission to grieve. Holding space for you and for them. This is not the time to get angry. This is not the time to start making some grand declarations. This is not the time to start, what the new tradition is and what the new normal is, because sugar, you don't know. The truth is, you really do not know. You don't know. You may get on the other side of that thing, and where you wanted to set a place at the table or whatever, that may make you run screaming from the room. You just really don't know. So the thing that I'm literally walking this out in real time, is just giving myself all the grace, all the space, all the permission that I need, checking in with myself, but also doing that for those who are grieving right alongside me. Not trying to make no big decisions. I'm not making any big decisions about anything. And that's Christmas. That's my business. That's everything. Like all decisions, everything has just been paused, because the emotions that are rolling right now, particularly, think about it. This is basically like my mother and my father. My entire foundation, my entire foundation is shifting under my feet in real time. Now is not the time to start making any big decisions or declarations about anything. So just making sure that you are in tune with you, making sure that you are asking yourself what you need, making sure that you are being gracious to those that are grieving next to you, and doing as much as you can to soak up as much time with your loved ones as you can during this time. Be it with a tree, be it not with a tree, be it with lights on your plant, be it with a bucket of chicken from KFC, be it ham, be it with Chinese food, be it with a pizza, be it with whatever it is. Let that be whatever it is for as you're walking this out, and don't put any pressure on yourself at all.
I think that everything that you said is extremely valid. For me, it's 20 years. And I like what Levita said, that it is not so much the new normal, but it is a part of your everyday life. For my father, it's been 20 years. For my mother, it's been 15 years. And it's not necessarily a new normal. It's my everyday life. And so I recognize the value and importance of not being ambushed by grief. You know, if it's the holidays, and that was something that my mother and father and I, we always did together. We would go out, we would look for a tree, we would do all of these various things. So I'm really careful when I'm walking into Costco and they back there baking those good old chocolate chip cookies. Your girl's gonna be triggered because it's a memory that's associated with both of my parents. And so it's a part of my everyday life. It's one of those things where you say, I am not going to be ambushed by grief. I am going to clearly know where I am at all times, what I'm going to be doing, so that I can temper those things that I come into contact with during the holiday season, around Mother's Day and Father's Day. All the other days I'm good. But there are specific times of the year, Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day, New Year's, where it's sort of like I'm really in my feelings about some things. So I want to talk about that. I know we're getting ready to go into break. So when we come back from the break, let's talk about loss and how do we manage loss and build that into the lifestyle that is now going to be a part, as Levita said, of your everyday. We'll be back in a moment after the break.
They said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it, they joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
Welcome back, everyone. And as you can tell, there are the ups and downs of the holidays. But while at the same time, there are the ups and downs and the ebb and flow of your everyday life. So let's talk about everyday life things. Welcome back, ladies. You know, this right now, because that's really all people have to deal with. They can't think about tomorrow. Yesterday has already come and gone. But each day being present and dealing with the loss and the grief and the way it grips us. Because it's difficult, as Dr. Tierney said, to give yourself grace when you're grieving.
Yeah.
You mad at God, you mad at the situation, you mad at the world, you mad for still having to be here. And it's not to say that you're ungrateful for still and be here, but that's just some of the stages of grief that people go through. Levita, kind of walk us through, how do you define or refine or find your sense of self in this now everyday life?
I use that often. I love how you said, you know, give yourself grace. We're often told to extend grace to other people, but we don't hear that enough about giving ourselves grace. We don't. And so for me, my everyday life now, that's today's reality, is just it's a lot of more self-care moments. A lot of like little things. I really enjoy, you know, the outdoor walks, I started a new hobby. I just really like photography. So my husband, you know, bought me this camera for my birthday, and he noticed that I was taking so many photos, you know, when we were on our walks, and I am just exploring things that may seem really, really small or insignificant to other people. But what I'm doing is I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying every single part of it. I decided that instead of just surviving, because I had so many moments where I am just surviving.
Mm-hmm.
But I prayed, Lord, I want to get to that place where I move from surviving to thriving. How do I do that? And then he just started, speaking. It's just in the little things. It's just in the little things. Like when I speak to you, it's not this big old massive, I'm going to knock you over hurricane. He speaks to us in these still, small, quiet moments. Star started just taking, you know what? I'm just going to start enjoying still, small, quiet moments. And it is just, it's just been life changing for me. It's just been grounding, and it's been how I've, coped, with the grief. Um, Little things can be big things. They really can be. They're
Mm.
little small steps to make you whole and get to that place of wellness on your journey. And yeah, and I say they're these small things, but they add up, and before you know it, you look back. Oh my goodness. And you're just a different, kind of version of yourself. And yeah, that's just my everyday life just looks like that now. I'm looking for those just small moments. There's this movie. Oh my goodness, I love this movie, and it's called The Magic of Ordinary Days.
Mm.
And that's what I do now. I just look for the magic in ordinary days. That's what I do.
It takes time to get to that space. And
Took
Dr.
time.
Tierney over there thinking, it's like, it does. It takes time. You'd be like, girl, if I could just get through this second.
I'm over here trying to gather myself. That's what I'm over here like, because as Levita was talking,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so because I do this, I now walk around with the camera. Okay. I walk around with my trusty, video camera. And about a year ago, 2 years ago, I set my camera up. And some of you, I shared a piece of it. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw a piece of it where I shared where I was having a conversation with my grandfather. And I said, I know you're proud of me, but tell me why you're proud of me.
Mm.
And so I did this with him and my grandmother, just, got him showing me how to make his famous greens and all of that. Well, I just started to record these little bits. I mean, my grandfather was 93 when he left this earth. My grandmother is 92. That's a lot of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
I just started asking them about life.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the top things that are the most important, and, what really matters, and walking this out with them,
Mm.
it wasn't the cars. It wasn't the money. I'm watching my grandmother as she is getting ready to transition. She's not worried about where her hats are. She done gave a lot of them to me, as a matter of fact. She's not worried about, her clothes and this and that. She's not worried about any of that. And so in one of the conversations I had with my grandfather, he said, babe, I wish I could just go fishing. And I said, well, fishing like on the lake, like how you used to? He said, yeah, I just really wish I could go fishing. But the thing is, I can't take myself fishing anymore.
Mm.
I gotta wait for somebody to come and, and help me to go fishing. I just want to go fishing.
Mm.
And I said, well, do you remember the last time you went fishing? He said, no, because I was always so busy.
Mm.
I was always working. So, and I said, well, yeah, you had the boat, because he had an actual fishing boat, under the carport. And I was like, you had a boat. You could have hooked that boat up to that truck anytime. He said, yeah, I really could have, but I was so busy on other stuff that I didn't stop long enough to go fishing.
Wow.
And when he said that, Sugar, it punched me in the face.
Wow.
And in that moment, I started. I heard God say, Tierney, go fishing. Don't worry about all this other stuff.
Wow.
Don't worry. Trust me that I'm going to take care of all the things that concerneth you. Go fishing.
Wow.
And that from that moment, That is how I've had to really retrain my focus. And it may not be literal. He was speaking literally fishing, but he was giving me in that a metaphorical way to live. Don't worry about the busy and the book and the grind and the this and the that. Because when you get to the end of your life, all you're gonna want to do is go fishing. All you want to do is go take them pictures. All you gonna want to do is be with your loved ones. All you gonna want to do is go roller skating. That's actually the hobby that I've picked up. I'm now roller skating. All you're gonna want to do are those little bitty things that Lavita was just talking about.
Yes.
That's what's most important. That's where life is. Life is not in our bank accounts. Life is not in our closets. Life is not in all of these exotic things that we put on our social media. It's not in that. I am literally have watched one and watching another one. Not worry about none of that. It's not even just the foods we eat and all the things that we put all of this important on that we allow to stress us out.
Yeah.
Go fishing. And that has been the thing that has been a balm to my soul in this grieving process. Go fishing. Go sit in the backyard. I went for a walk the other day because I love like fall and the colors of the leaves. I went for a walk yesterday and was just walking the whole time like this. People just looking at the leaves.
Yes.
Just enjoying the feel of the wind on my face.
Yes.
The sound of the birds chirping. Go fishing, sugar. And that's the advice that my grandfather gave me that he didn't even know he was giving me. I was just asking him, these little questions. And he just gave me the blueprint for how I need to live the rest of my life here on the rest of this earth. So I'm sharing it with you. Fishing, sugar. That's what's going to be most important in the end.
Absolutely. I think that both of you bring some levels of validity and also giving our audience permission to live. I mean, this one thing for me rule is like, there's some things in life as you go forward, you shouldn't compromise on. Self-care is one of them. Yeah. Discovering how you're going to fill that void is another. Not allowing people to impose their thoughts and views about how you should process grief, because it is an individual experience. Lavita, if you had to give our audience today one thing they can focus on as they think about how to move forward, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but setting the tone, how do you, or did you get to the place of setting the tone of saying it's okay to move forward?
Well, one thing that I want to say is a lot of people tend to tell you, or you may even tell yourself, I just can't bounce back. I haven't been able to bounce back. I'm not a fan of trying to bounce back. And I'm looking at, bouncing forward. Don't try to focus on trying to return to that previous self of yours, And so my thing is, let's focus on, okay, what did that whole experience, what was that for? It's a learning experience. It's a growth experience. And for me, I just try to use that term now, just kind of, I'm bouncing forward or trying to, move forward instead of, I'm not going to bounce back to that previous self of mine. It's not happening, because the previous self, that person or the thing that I lost was in that. And so that's never coming back. That thing, that job, whatever it is, that part is over. So how do you, move forward? And when we were going through that very tough season last year, just a lady at church just came up to me. She hugged me and she said one sentence, and she said, just do the next thing. And I was like, wow. She said, I was told that by someone and I'm sharing it with you. Just do the next thing. Don't try to plan. Don't try to, and I think Dr. Tierney focused on that. She talked about that earlier. I'm not trying to plan this whole holiday. I'm not trying to do, think about the tree. What is the next thing that I can do today? Because this is my everyday life now. Just do the next thing.
Absolutely. Your one thing rule, Dr. Tierney.
Just be present today. I love what Lavita said. Don't try to bounce back, because that person, she gone. He gone. he not coming back no more. Like he's not. That's done because that person still had her grandfather with her.
Yes.
That person still had her grandmother in this capacity. That person still had that job or that thought or that belief or that relationship. Once these things happen, that's gone. It is supposed to change you, sugar. You are supposed to be ever changed, but that's life. No, nothing stays the same. So instead of trying to hold tight and oh no, I used to be able to. Well, sure. Guess what? You can't do that no more. What we finna do now? Like what is right now? And so I think staying right now in the present, in today, not into way in the next week, not way in the next month, not way into next year. And I say that for all the people like me. I am a very type A forecasting planner, and I've had to learn
Me too.
how that scripture, he is a light unto my feet and a lamp unto my path. Like you have to stay right unto right here. What is right here in front of you? What am I feeling right now? And if it's something in the future, then God, just trust that God will show you. He'll give you the vision for that.
Amen.
Whatever that next month is, or he may, whatever that is, but that's not for you to decide. That's not for you to do right now. Stay right in the present, right in this moment. Sometimes it's minute by minute. Seriously. Sometimes it's hour by hour, day by day. When you do that, you are allowing yourself that space to then reshape, redefine where you are, who you are, and then you'll look up and go, "Oh, I've moved forward. I've made progress. Oh, I'm not." You won't even realize it at that point, and it'll be a natural flow. Sugar, stop trying to hustle when God wants us just to flow.
That's a word. I like that. When we come back after the break, let's talk a little bit more about that, because there are going to be days where you're going to be looking for your access point for you to be able to move forward. But you've been so busy thinking about what was, what coulda, shoulda, wasn't, that you will miss that access point on being able to just take the one step and put one foot in front of the other. We'll be back in a moment after the break.
Hey y'all, welcome to The Other Side of Change, only on the Black Star Network and hosted by myself, Bria Baker, and my good sis, Jamira Burley. We are just two millennial women tackling everything at the intersection of politics, gender, and pop culture.
And we don't just settle for commentary. This is about solution-driven dialogue to get us to the world as it could be and not just as it is.
Watch us on the Black Star Network, so tune in to The Other Side of Change.
Welcome back, everyone. And as you can tell, the ebb and flow of life sometimes just requires you to ebb and flow. Don't overthink it. Don't try to plan it. Just let it be. Let's talk about that, ladies, because in this season that we have found ourselves, the government, who knows what it's going to be doing, but everybody has been accosted by it. They are in a stranglehold because of it. And in that, in itself, it is also a loss of wage, loss of job, loss of ability to get out and do things, loss of the ability to plan. So in addition to physical death and loss of a loved one, people are also experiencing tangible loss of all the hopes and dreams and some of the intangible things as well that they've been planning for, that they were going to be doing. Loss in general is not easy. But how can we, and I'm going to ask Dr. Tierney this first, how can we not only accept loss as a part of our everyday, but use it as a stepping stone to build the now?
Yeah. This is where faith comes in. This is where, faith is required at all times. Let me be clear. Faith is required at all times. But this is really where faith comes in. As someone who has experienced a lot of loss of a job, lost my identity, lost a whole bunch of stuff. I done lost a whole bunch of stuff. So not just people, but just, the dreams that I had or what I thought I was going to be doing by now and all the things, sugar. The main thing that we can do in this is truly, when I said flow, Stop trying to hustle. And I'm from Memphis, so you know that phrase, hustle and flow, that me. But we're too busy trying to hustle because we're so caught up in what we want and what we think and what we are, some selfish little narcissists just running around. It's all about me, I, mine, and we don't stop long enough to say, okay, well, God, what are you doing? We got the whole thing, and this kind of hit me one day. We got this whole thing down of prayer. It's even a song. Jesus is on the main line. Tell him what you want. So when we pray, we telling him what we want. But do we sit still long enough to find out what he wants? What he wants us to do? So when things start shifting in the earth, when doors start closing, when all of the loss of the things that we wanted or how we lived or how we thought we was going to live, do we sit long enough to say, okay, Lord, what are you showing me in this? Who are you shaping me into through this situation? What is it that you're trying to get to me and through me in this season? Because Romans 8:28, all things work together for the good of those who love God. So we have to sit still long enough and get out of our feelings long enough about whatever it is that we think we're losing to see, okay, what is this season doing for me? It's not happening to me. It's happening for me. As bad as it hurts, as much as it is just ripping my soul to tattered rags, there must be something that needs to be pruned, that needs to be pressed, that needs to be corrected. There's enough next level for me. And the only way I can really get to that next level is if I shed things. Even the trees know when it's time to shed.
Wow.
Even nature knows when it's time to let go.
Yeah.
So why do we fight so hard to hold on when it might be something that we need to let go? And God knows the only way to let it go is let's shut the government down. Let's take that job right there. Let's close that relationship right there. Because we hold on. So sometimes all of these things happen just to help us to let go. And I don't mean to be insensitive about this. I'm not saying your loved one left you so that you could be taught a lesson to let go. That is not what I'm saying at all.
Right.
Things happen, life happens. It is just the natural ebb and flow. But as long as we continue to go against the grain and we don't learn how to flow, then we are constantly going to be in a state of anxiety. We're going to constantly be in a state of stress and strain and pressure. And we might miss the lesson and we might miss that good thing, that blessing that God is trying to get to us because we're too busy trying to hold on to who we were, what we had, what we used to do, instead of opening our hands and flowing and allowing what God is trying to flow to us to get through us. That's my
absolutely. Yeah. Can we get a couple of amens on that? And I know the audience is out there with a hand clap and a praise the Lord. Lavita, if there's something you'd like to add to that, please do. But I want to ask you about, and you're good at this, the micro yes. Sometimes people can't decide what to do. Talk about, in addition to whatever you were going to say as well, the value of the micro yes. Just find a thing and put a yes on that. And that's your beginning.
Yeah. That kind of leads from what I was saying earlier about just do the next thing when you're talking about the micro yes, and just taking that smallest next step, that smallest action. One of the things that I want to, I guess, kind of remind people of when they're going through these really, really tough seasons, and they are tough. There's no lie. If you're talking about grief or loss, I would just really, really encourage people to acknowledge that this is a hard situation. This is a hard season. This is not one that I would have chosen for myself. That is the first thing right there. And I know we're all women of faith, and we have 4 children. They are reared. We're reared. They're young adults now in a very strong household. But you know what I used to say sometimes, and they knew, yeah, mom's a Bible teacher. She leads this. She's lead that. Sometimes I would say, "Oh, you know what, guys, this really sucks right now." I would say that. I'm like, I don't like this. I would not have chosen this. I'm acknowledging that this is a very hard time and it really does suck. But how do I learn? How do I grow from this? And that's where, resilience comes. Resilience is it is about growth, but sometimes you have to even change a belief system during that time. Sometimes you have to completely realign your priorities. So, like Dr. Tierney was saying, with this current government situation, there's a lot of realignment that is about to happen or is happening with your priorities because you're forced to. But in that, that's part of resilience. And I love the fact that she talked about the tree shedding, because you know what happens during winter, with trees? We think they're dead. They're not dead. They're dormant. And trees are like the best example that I know of resilience. And the reason that, they can bend, but they don't break, right? They shed because they're shedding the things that they don't really need anymore. But what's happening during that time, like when you have extreme weather, when you're having hurricanes and when you're having freezes, and I'm speaking from Houston, Texas, because we have both. I mean, we have some very odd extreme weather here. So what happens to those trees is there is this quiet, very quiet internal growth going on because they have this cycle that they have to go through. And it's like our lives. We have the cycles that we go through. Well, they're doing these very quiet things internally because they're rebuilding. That's what they're doing. They are rebuilding and strengthening their core systems during the harsh times. That's what's happening underground. We don't see that. But we have the same thing, in resilience. We have root systems that are so grounded. That's what we need to rely on or fall back on. We can bend, we're not going to break. We can shed, but we're not going to lose the whole tree because we have this belief system that is so grounded. We just may be dormant for a season, but it's just, like I said, it's that quiet internal growth that's helping us strengthen.
I'm loving this analogy because, it is hard for people to lay low. And, it's like, I just need you to lay low for a while. I think scripture says it best, be still and know that I am God. It is hard for people to be still. And I think for me, a part of that access point is just acknowledging the fact that quiet time is a good time.
Yeah.
You can't be hurried all the time. You can't be busy all the time. You don't have to be on or doing something all the time. Allow yourself to get dormant. Just as Dr. Tierney says, sit down somewhere and be quiet. And I think that that's important. We forget. I mean, grandparents used to tell us that all the time. Go sit down. Just go sit down. Because there's something about being still when you're allowing your body to be able to rest, to compose itself, to get the organs to get together. That's why rest is so important. I would think for me that if I had to think of an access point, it would be the importance and the power of rest.
Yeah.
It's not overrated. I'm a napper. I am a napper. I am a napper.
But you know what?
It is important for people to rest, Dr. T.
People, a lot of times, I want to point this out. A lot of times we can't rest because our busy is a coping mechanism. When we rest, we stop, it makes us focus in on the things that hurt us, the things that we don't want to think about, the hard times, the emotions. And so a lot of times when we're not resting, it's because we running. We running from emotions. We running from that thing that we really need to face, and so that's why I get on my soapbox all the time and be like, hey, that's where a coach or a therapist come in, because you're running, you're eventually going to run out of gas.
That's true.
You're eventually going to run into a wall. You eventually going to run yourself into the ground, because that resting and being quiet, that's when all of the things kind of come in. That's also God's way of saying, hey, sugar, come here, precious. Come here, let me talk. Come on, let's deal with that thing, because if you don't deal with it, it's gonna deal with you. And so a lot of us, we out here, we stressed, we in cortisol, just spikes and all of this, because it's dealing with us, because we kept running instead of resting and dealing with it.
That's a word.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna end the show right there. Because I think that's a great place, ladies, for people to say, is this my season of rest? you know,
Yeah, it's time
is
to
this my season of rest?
That's right.
it's time to deal so that we can heal. Deal with it so we can heal it.
That's
Absolutely. When we come back after the break, I'll give my reflection.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. And as you can tell, the ups and downs for the holidays can run you ragged if you allow it to. On this show today, I hope that we have said something that will allow you to not only face what is happening in your life, give yourself grace to be able to deal and manage with it, but also find those access points where you can sit down, rest, heal, and be restored. Thank you for watching. Bye now.